I'll tell you in other news. There is talk of Michael Bisping versus Dan Henderson Part 2. Now, that is not likely to happen. That's not likely to happen. They're going to offer that fight to Jacare and then go from there. Weidman, of course, will be in the hunt. That lines up Madison Square Garden around the corner. Politically, that'll help him. That'll be on his side. And then, look, Rockholt's got to be considered too. Rockholt, sadly and surprisingly, is probably the last pick of those three of Jacare, Weidman, Rockholt. He's probably the last pick. Sadly, for what he went through, being the champion, underestimating him, splitting now with Bisping 1-1. The storyline is there for the rubber match, but he'll probably be the last pick. Let's go back to the Dan Henderson thing. That's not likely to happen. However, the people do want it. Not one person has balked. The people, and Bisping wants it. And Henderson, of course, Henderson wants it. The people want it. The problem you've got is the writers and the sports reporters. And now let me rework this for you. So a lot of people are going to look at Dan Henderson. They'll bring up his age. Actually, Dan Henderson's not even under contract with the UFC anymore. He's fought his last fight. That could change any minute now. They'll make him an offer. He might come to terms. He might retire. I don't know. He won't retire if he get a title fight with Michael Bisping. I'll tell you that right now. I'll tell you that for Dan. I'll tell you that right now. But Dan wants to fight. Bisping wants to fight. Writers don't want it. It will sell. It will draw. The people do want it. And it's compelling. You remember their first fight? You remember the way Dan Henderson just won? Impressive fashion. Brought the house to their feet. Remember how Michael Bisping did the same? 40 minutes later, same card. Storylines there, the writers don't want it. Here's what I'd remind the writers, and we do have to respect them. They're an important part of this. But let me remind you, writers, if the title wasn't up, if you take the title out of this sequence, everybody signs off on this fight. Dana White signs off, Bisping signs off, Henderson signs off, and all of you sign off, and of course the fans do. The title is what's making it tricky. Writers love to come out and talk about who deserves a title shot. I don't know where that word deserve came from, but it did, and now we all have to live with it. We just do. It's like boxers and their records. Somewhere over time, you couldn't lose a fight in boxing. You had to be undefeated. Somewhere over time, that became their single greatest marketing and driving tool that boxing had was a guy's record. If a guy lost 10 fights in boxing, he's a bum. He might as well sell his gloves or put them in the garbage. He's never getting another fight. He's damn sure not getting a main event or a title fight, even though a guy with 10 losses in boxing could beat the world champion. There could be more to the story. He might have started boxing professionally when he was 16 or 17 years old. He might have been like Roberto Duran and lied about his age so he could feed his family. He might have been 18 or 19 years old and ran through the ringer, thrown in there with guys that nobody else had the courage to fight, but he would, and racked up some losses. Well, it doesn't matter. In boxing, you get 10 losses, your professional career is as good as done. Well, that shouldn't be true anymore. It's never been true in MMA. Those records never mattered. Dana White had ways to promote guys and push them forward that were absent of records. The same thing now lives in our sport with the word deserve. Deserve doesn't belong anywhere in anybody's vocabulary. It's America. You take what you can get when you can get it. You give yourself the best opportunity for success. In the fight game, you make sure you're ready, and when your phone rings, you pick it up and you say yes to whatever it is they offer you. That's how opportunity comes about. But we now have to live with the ridiculous word of deserve. Thank you, reporters. You're probably going to cost us the chance to see Bisping and Henderson. But if the belt wasn't in there, everybody would say yeah. And I will remind you of this. Michael Bisping has been asking for that fight for years. This isn't a new thing. Some people were pushing back and say, well, yeah, he doesn't want to fight Weidman, or he doesn't want to fight Jacare, or he doesn't want to fight Rock. I don't know how you live the life that Michael Bisping lived. Fight everybody they've ever put in front of you. Get your eye detached and go right back to work. I don't know how you live that life, and then anybody can come out and say that you're looking for the easy way. I don't know how that works, but it does. Again, it's like the word deserve. We just have to live in this level of ridiculousness where yesterday doesn't seem to matter. The last 10 years of you stepping up to the plate doesn't seem to matter. I'll remind you guys, Bisping has asked for this fight with or without that belt. He said he wanted that one back. Henderson's spot might be a little bit different. Henderson might be going, I already beat him once. I really didn't want to give him a rematch, but now that the belt's on the line, now you got my interest too. I don't think it makes a bit of difference. If people want to see the fight, then make the fight. I've always thought it should be that way. I've always thought the company should push back on the rankings and tell these alleged reporters to shove it up their ass, because they don't do anything anyway. You're going to adhere and bow down to a guy that's on a .com, please. Please. Why? Go take the biggest reporter out there on a .com. He's not influencing anybody. But the company thinks that he does. The company's wrong, but they think that they think the guy does. I thought this way back. Look, when Ronda got beat by Holly and Holly lost to Misha, the talk was instantly, well, that fight's burned. And I'm going, I don't agree. They're both coming off of losses. It's even. We really don't care. As fans, we really don't care about the belt. That's a great marketing tool. That belt's a great piece of marketing. It's fun for a poster. You put that belt up, the little old lady in Iowa knows what it means. The person that does not follow the UFC sees somebody with that championship belt around their waist not wearing a T-shirt. They know that's a fighter. And they know that's a championship match. It's a great piece of marketing. But to bring it back to the Holly Ronda fight, that's what people want to see. Take the belt out of the equation. That's still the fight that people want to see. Make the damn fight. It doesn't have to be about a belt. The one out in left field with the catcher's mitt on is Misha. So be it that she's the champion. The fight that people want to see is Holly and Ronda. Hey, Misha, you're going to sit one. Then you're going to fight whoever wins this. Or however it is you want to do it. Make the fight that people want. That's just what I think. I think you got to make the fight. Every now and then, if you're running a sporting event, you're running a sporting franchise, and you want credibility, you got to go by the rankings. That's true, too. I get it. There's a balance there. But I haven't seen it be balanced in a while. I've seen it just be, let's go off of the rankings. Well, what T.J. Dillashaw teach us when he stepped in against Renan Barão as a 7-1 underdog? What Michael Bisping teach us when he stepped in on short notice against Luke Rockhold as a 6-1 underdog? We learned those rankings don't really get it right, do they? That's what we learned. Put the fights on. Let the guys figure it out. Let the girls figure it out. So I want to come on, and I want to sign up for Bisping Henderson. That's what I want to do. Jacare said he was hurt. That's what he said. Jacare deserved the shot. Absolutely. But Jacare said he was hurt. Chris Weidman, does he deserve the shot? Always. Absolutely he does. He can move up to light heavyweight and he still deserves the shot. Never even fought at light. He still deserves the shot. He's a world champion. But he said he was hurt. He said he was hurt. Does Luke Rockhold deserve the shot? You bet your ass he does. But let's take that word out of it and let's pretend there's not a belt on the line. We make the Bisping-Henderson fight today, don't we? Of course. Of course we do. Both those guys are in. The fans are in. What else do you need? Don't let that belt get in the way. Let's see it. If Dan's got one more left in him, if he knocked him out before, then he's got the qualifications. It's as simple as that. Michael Bisping's the world champion, and there's a guy he wants to fight, then I think Michael Bisping deserves to get one every now and then that he asks for. I can't remember a time he's ever asked for a fight and got it. It's usually been the other way. Bisping's had to do the heavy lifting that nobody else was willing to do. So let's see if that fight happens. Let's make that fight happen. We got the audience. We got the podcast. We could put that fight together right now. Jacob, I think we should call it. I'm running out of things to talk about. I feel like we covered our bases. I got everything off my chest I wanted to. Quick tribute to Muhammad Ali. Set the record straight for these people that wanted to come out, attach their name to a guy when he passes away and rewrite history. I set that straight for him. Brock Lesnar exemption thing. No foul play there. That's in black and white. He was not subject to the code. He retired before it. He comes back. He gets treated like a new athlete. That's just the way it works. It's not treated any different than the young man that almost got his shot in the UFC against Uriah Hall a month ago when Anderson pulled out. He's a new guy to the pool. And ultimately, let's see Bisping and Henderson go at it. Why the hell not? It was fun the first time. Let's see it the next time. All right, that's it. I'm Chael Sonnen, and until next Wednesday, you are welcome.